welcome to Dead Man Talking. Tonight's show is a very exciting three-part series entitled UK Park Ranger Experiences. Before we start off, I would just like to apologise to everybody that's commented in the last week or so. I have struggling to be getting round to actually getting back to you guys with your questions and kind comments of support. I will do that as soon as possible, guys. I just have been pretty worn out. I have quite a bad back injury, and I take some heavy medication with that, so it kind of takes the wind out of my sails sometimes. But as soon as I can, I will, guys, get back to your questions and kind words. As I said, this is part one of a series entitled UK Park Ranger Experiences. Let's get straight into that. I have been a park ranger in a national park that's located in the United Kingdom, England, for just over 10 years. I'm not going to tell you which one, or even the county of which it's located, for the sake of my job, as I still work here, but there are some very weird things that you find every so often while on shift. Things that my superiors would likely not appreciate me sharing online. My job mainly involves patrolling the trails and checking that they are all in safe state for people to walk through. I was also asked to talk with schoolchildren in assemblies and such after about a year on the job to express how important it is to stay with the group and on the trails. I gave pretty obvious reasons for this, but little did I know I would soon discover some of the horrifying truths as to why they should never wander off. The first story I am going to share with you took place on a beautiful spring morning in June, I think. This was during my first year on the job. The sun was still low in the sky, but it was slowly rising and brightening my surroundings. I was on a normal morning patrol through one of my deeper trails, as it hadn't been checked recently, and protocol is frequently check all the trails for fallen trees and any potential natural hazards to hikers. It was such a beautiful morning. I remember walking along with a slight smile on my face as I listened to the nature waking up in the trees, and I found the cool breeze very relaxing, as it had a truly peaceful effect on my mood. Suddenly, the trees to my left were filled with the sounds of birds squawking loudly as they frantically flew away. I stopped and listened for a moment. Silence. A quote from another story I have read here reads very true to this situation. Prey is silent when predators are near. Now, understand, we don't have any bears or wolves here in England, nothing like that. So, I suppose it could have been a deer that had snapped a twig. However, the noise wouldn't usually drop like that, as deer don't pose much of a threat to wildlife at all. I continued on, not thinking anything of it, and after a short time, I got an urge to check behind me. There was a man walking maybe 100 metres back, and I was on a long straight, so it was easy to tell. I was confused, as the trails aren't usually used until a little later, when early dog walkers would show up, and even then a few would wander this far into the woods at this time. He seemed to be walking at a very relaxed pace, his hands in his dark blue hoodie's pockets, and he had faded blue jeans. I radioed over to ask if anyone had seen someone enter the trail I was walking shortly after I had left, but no one had seen anyone come in or out other than the occasional dog walker. I thought nothing of it, but continued on a slightly hurried pace. I usually wouldn't be bothered about being out on my own with another stranger. I wasn't a small bloke, nor someone to get spooked easily. However, this guy just gave me a bad feeling. I was approaching a gate that leads to a much denser area of woodland, much like a thick forest, and as I closed the gate behind me, I noticed This man had stopped dead in his tracks. He seemed to be staring right at me, but I couldn't be sure. Then he broke into a sprint. Not a light jog that someone out for exercise might. I'm taking a full-on sprint. It was almost aggressive. I freaked out and turned to run. Why would a complete stranger, who has previously so calm and relaxed, suddenly be sprinting at me? He hadn't called for help or even waved to me. Fortunately, the trail's long straight section was over, and I ran around a curve and hid behind one of many large rocks that were by the side of the trail. I could hear his heavy footsteps thudding towards me, right until he was just on the other side of the rock, and he stopped. Again, dead in his tracks. He wasn't even out of breath. He just seemed to stand there for a while and then just walked off. I waited for what must have been close to 10 minutes to be sure he was far ahead. Then I radioed the strange encounter to my colleagues, who agreed it was truly strange, and I cautiously continued on my patrol. I never saw that strange man again, and really, I hope I never do. I have many more memories I would like to share with you, so stay safe out there, kids. You are rarely truly alone in the forest. Okay, guys, that completes part 1 in the series. Hope you enjoyed that. Seems to be there's a lot more building with this series. Please do let me know down below in the comments. Please do like and share. And remember, folks, be safe, not sorry.